Joy News Prime.
To all those watching from across Ghana and beyond, this is Joy News Prime here on Joy News on Multi TV. My name is Israelai. In this edition, Korle Bu Teaching Hospital and the other major referral hospitals in the country resume full operations as doctors return to work after 3-week strike. Lawyer for Charles Aintree, the self-confessed failed presidential assassin, faces off with the state over the Attorney General's efforts to have the case retried. Public figures and media personalities dominate first wave of parliamentary aspirants expressing interest in contesting for parliament on the ticket of the governing National Democratic Congress. President Mahama arrives in Mauritius at the start of his 3-day visit there. In business, the local currency once again breaches the 4 cedi to $1 threshold as it resumes downward spiral against the other major currencies. We have more business, sports and international news all coming up in this bulletin, available across Europe on London-based ABN television. Stay tuned. In our very first story, the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Ghana's largest health facility, has resumed full operations following the suspension of the strike, the 3-week industrial action embarked on by public sector doctors. The strike was eventually suspended by the Ghana Medical Association last Friday after pleas from various quarters and prominent individuals, including key religious and traditional leaders. True to their word, the doctors were at post on Monday morning to attend to patients, some of whom had to struggle to get care from other health facilities during the period of the strike.
The Public Relations Officer of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Mustafa Salifu, says the Premier Hospital has resumed full operations. Though he admits not all doctors reported to duty on Monday, he was however confident more doctors will join in soon.
We are back to full and normal operations. As at 8:30, some of the doctors were already in the consulting rooms seeing the patients. So we can say, yes, indeed, Korle Bu is back. We are operating. So those who have appointment to see their doctors can come. They shouldn't entertain any fears. When they come, they will be given the necessary consultations. And we have a lot of doctors. We have an excess of 600 doctors in Korle Bu here. And what we do is that people are scheduled to come. They have their clinic days. They have their theater days. So if Monday is not a theater day, you will not be seen in theater. So you not see people at all the places. All the people at all the places, they come at scheduled times to see their patients. So that is what is happening.
And this was evident at the outpatient department of the hospital. Following public announcement of the suspension of the strike by doctors on Friday, many patients trooped in on Monday morning to seek treatment. At the maternity and child health unit, patients anxiously waited for their turn to see doctors who had reported to work. Patients who spoke to the news team say doctors' resumption of full operation is a big relief.
Actually, it is a big relief to us as patients because we were contemplating as to whether they would be coming to work before we arrived here, because we heard of most of our colleague patients who were suffering at the hospitals, others dying, others going to the private hospitals and so on. And so they coming back to work is indeed a big relief. Yeah.
You know, there is a referral hospital, and you know, pregnancy, there are so many related issues. So if the doctor is not around and there is an emergency, you know what will happen. The pregnant woman can lose her life. So I think it's good they are back.
I think it's good for everyone. My wife, for instance, whom I brought here today, she had a referral letter from Coco Clinic, I think about a week now, but we couldn't come. So once they are coming today and we called the doctor and he confirmed they are coming, so we should come this morning. We are here. If they hadn't come back, we had to wait. because the advice is that my wife this is the first time she's delivering, and they advise that because of her condition she comes to Korle Bu. So if they were not going to come, we couldn't go anywhere else. So it's good.
Since I heard the news they are in town, they are in the clinic, I decided to come. I am very happy. At least those who can't afford private clinics will be a little bit at ease.
The situation was no different at the surgical block. The outpatients department was full to its capacity, with several patients waiting outside for their turn. Due to the backlog of cases accrued over the strike period, new cases were rescheduled.
During the strike, we come to give dates. Yeah, we give them dates. We rebook them. So it's normal. It's a normal clinic. Yeah.
Tell us, are the doctors back? How
they are back. They are back. They've started working. They are working. The doctors by 6 they are here. They go to the wards to review the cases over there before they come to the OPD. So they are in. They are working.
My final stop was the surgical and emergency unit of the hospital. The unit has also started attending to and admitting referral cases. Matilda Pomaga for Joy News, Accra.
Well, the parties earlier met today to restart negotiations, and Employment and Labour Relations Minister Haruna Idrisu is urging members of the Ghana Medical Association to take into consideration the constraint of the economy as negotiations for the conditions of service begin. Speaking to Joy News' Fred Smith, the minister said he expects the negotiations to be guided by concessions, which should result in a win-win for both parties.
The new spirit is rapprochement, building bridges, and going forward, we remain committed to the principle of giving them a codified conditions of services. Once that is effectively negotiated and we're able to build harmony and consensus as the measure, I expect that the negotiations will be guided by give and take. A win-win for all of us, for both government. But what's important is for them to appreciate the constraints of the economy and the relativities in respect of what we may be able to yield and give them and what we are not able to do. Thank you.
Now, have you wondered how families took care of their sick while the doctors were on strike? Law firm's Erastus Asare caught up with a man who explained how he went in and out of a private hospital with his wife for 20 days whilst also praying for an end to the strike.
On the 3rd of August, to send my wife for treatment. On the 3rd of August, they started the strike. So there's nothing for me to do. I have to take my wife back home. Even when I came, they told me that they are on strike. So nobody is going to attend to her. So I took her back to the house.
In her state, how was she suffering?
So he's in a serious condition, but there's no doctor to attend to her.
So what were you doing for her in the house?
I've been sending her back to South Central Hospital for a medication to be taken until the time that the doctors will resume, so that I send her back to Okopanoche Teaching Hospital.
Now, I'll be returning to the doctor strike a lot later on, but lawyer for Charles Entry, the man jailed after claiming he wanted to assassinate President John Mahama on Monday, challenged efforts by the state to have the case retried. Charles Entry, who showed up in a court frequented by the president with a gun, is currently serving a 10-year sentence for illegal possession of a weapon in a rather very swift trial that has since been condemned by many. Whilst the Attorney General's department wants the whole case revisited, counsel for the convicted presidential assassin wannabe believes the entire ruling needs to be quashed and his client referred to a mental facility.
A psychiatric report on Charles Entry revealed that his current mental state makes him dangerous and recommended that he should be treated by a psychiatrist in a secured environment and under supervision. The acting chief executive officer of the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Barima Osei, who is an interested party in the case, says he is hopeful the trial judge at the High Court, Ken Okwabi, will rule in their favor.
What I'm expecting is the judge will agree that the conviction was wrong on the basis of the fact that this person, any reasonable person, that's what the lawyers themselves say, not me, any reasonable person should have suspected that there was something wrong with his mental sanity, his mental stability. And in that case, they should not have gone ahead to convict. So the conviction, we are hoping the judge will quash it, and therefore the sentence will be quashed. So that is what the certiorari is about, to quash the whole thing.
The Attorney General, represented by Richard Jambibi and Evelyn Kilson, agrees with the Mental Health Authority Chief Executive that the trial judge erred in his sentencing of Charles Entry. They, however, believe the convict deserves a sentence nonetheless, based on his own confessions, except they want the case retried so he could be handed the appropriate sentence. The two state attorneys will not speak to the media.
But I can't be talking on air like that, you understand?
But counsel for Charles Entry, Francis Xavier Susu, was originally thought to be pursuing the same interests as the state, says he is totally opposed to a retrial and made his point forcefully during the hearing.
The AG is perhaps confusing the issues. But when you look at the issues clearly, I think there is no doubt that even taking the plea was wrongful because he was of unsound mind. And remember that, you see, under the Constitution, and when we talk about human right, Article 33, and you look at the rules of fair trial under Article 19 of the Constitution, you will realize that all the things that we were complaining about were supposed to be in place before the plea is even taken. Medical examination and medical evaluation because of the way the person was talking, and so on and so forth. So for all these things not to have been done, there is no way the conviction could be right, and there is no way the sentencing could be right.
Trial Judge Ken Okwabi is expected to rule on Monday, August 31, 2015, whether there should be a retrial of the case as requested by the AG or a complete quashing of the earlier sentence.
Staying with the courts, a case involving the Lejokuku Krowa Municipal Assembly and Margaret Yea Champong, a resident of the municipality, has been adjourned to September 3, 2015. The plaintiff, who says she's tired of driving on bad roads, sued the assembly for failing to fix roads in their community. Though there has since been some work done on the road, Mrs. Champong, a lawyer, is claiming reliefs of 50,000 Ghana cedis for damages she says she suffered as a result of the bad nature of the road network.
And they didn't come because they know they don't have a case. They haven't done what they should do.
So you are going to press on with this till you get justice done?
Yes, of course. I have to do that. It's my right, and I don't think I will sit down for them to tread on my rights on their own. They have to do what they have to do, and that is what the whole nation should sit up and let these leaders or rulers do what they have to do, just as we also have the duty to do that. Like, if I were not paying my property right, then I wouldn't have that right to also fight. But I pay my property bill to you, you take it, and then you also have to give me free access to my accommodation, to my property. So that is why that is all, and I'll fight till it is done. Yeah, so we are coming on the 3rd, all being well, and by then I would have filed the motion for judgment. And when they compel them to do the road, before I'll give evidence for the damages.
Now, going back to the doctors returning to work, Labour expert Ben Arthur has advised the Ghana Medical Association and government to trust each other as first negotiations over the doctors' conditions of service resume. Speaking on today's big story, Mr. Arthur said the two parties must put past suspicions and mistrust behind them and forge ahead with the first negotiations. The Labour expert also wants government to include a compulsory arbitration clause in any conditions of service proposals it places before the doctors, so that there will be a clear rule over what services cannot be affected by a strike.
The Labour Act itself makes provision that when it comes to the essential services sector, any dispute that arises must be settled between the parties within a matter of 3 days. If the matter is unresolved, then within 24 hours, both parties or one of them must report it to the National Labour Commission. National Labour Commission, within a matter of 3 days, must institute or must empanel a group of arbitrators, 3 of them, to handle what we call compulsory arbitration. And within 14 days, they must come out with the arbitral award. So I'm not stating anything different from what we have given to ourselves as a nation to practice. Indeed, if submitting the budget for approval and what have you has a time limit, and we are going to wait 12, 14 days, 21 days, and the parties are unable to resolve, what happens? There must be a settlement.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. When we come back, we have more stories coming up. Don't go away.